Hi there, I'm Stephen from First Line Equipment, Rotorua, New Zealand. This is my service truck. It's a 2012 Isuzu NPR 450. I'm going to give you a tour of the truck, show you what it's all about, show how we do things here in New Zealand.
If you want to stock up on parts, tracks, or tools, head over to FortisHD.com. If you have any questions, reach out, parts@FortisHD.com. Every purchase helps fund more videos like this one. Now back to the video.
I work on a lot of forestry equipment, earth moving, heavy machinery, bit of road transport, trucks, on highway trucks, and I've got some drill rigs I look after, so quite a broad range of diesel heavy equipment that I care for. And I sort of cover a fairly big area. There's a couple of big forests, so quite a big variety, big area I cover. This is my main toolbox on the driver's side. Snap-on box I've had for quite a while, 15 odd years on the road, lives up. So in the top drawer I've got crow's feet, metric and imperial. I've got my verniers in there, die grinder, pencil die grinder, blow off gun, 1/2 inch bars, long bars, ratchets. Top left drawer, it's all the screwdrivers, picks, scrapers, and knives in there. Run a lot of snap-on stuff, quite happy with it. Next drawer down, got full, need a bigger toolbox. Pliers, around the Nipex style mainly. Got a couple of snap-on ones here, Atika clamps, vice grips, chain grip, just the standard stuff in there. Next drawer down, we've got circuit pliers and T-handle wrenches and interior removal tools. Again, I like the Nipex stuff, had it for quite a while. Got into the snap-on reversible ones just lately, so yeah, I'm quite happy with all that sort of stuff. Don't use them as much, but they do get the use. Fourth drawer, socket accessories, 1/4, 3/8 and my 3/4 extension. Snap-on bit set. I've got a lot of Barco sockets and extensions. I've had those for good 20 years, never had an issue with them. Snap-on ratchets, snap-on extensions, wobble bits. The electrical drawer, I've got my Fluke multimeter, leads, temperature probe. I do quite a bit of air conditioning work, so I have that as well. Crimpers, strippers, and there's other terminal removal tools, soldering iron. I've got a Milwaukee soldering iron in there, use that quite a bit. Bottom drawer on the left side, just a few of the common blow mold cases. You got bearing install kit. I got a Barco through socket set. Don't use it a lot, but it has come in handy just recently on a Komatsu bulldozer. Yeah, that's another hollow sockets. This is just a small lead set that I've made up for testing electrical harnesses and whatnot. Paint spray can, I'm trying to be Michelangelo. Power probe kit, got to have that. Long Allen sockets, snap-on cooling system tester in the bottom. I've got another cooling pressure tester on the other side as well, I've just brought recently. Top right hand side is all metric spanners, Barco. I've got quite a bit of Barco stuff, snap-on mainly, snap-on Blue Point, the snap-on long series, double-ended, love those. I've got the Barco set that I brought when I think I was about 15 at the time, and I've still got them now as like secondary spinners. Always got to have those. I've got a set of Milwaukee flare nut spinners that I brought on a Saturday, so I was desperate to get a truck going. Needed them. That's our metric, up to 19mm. Second drawer is Imperial. This is a mixture of Sid Chrome, snap-on, and SP, quartered 1.25 inch in this drawer. I've got about 3 sets in here, I think. Plus I've got the Blue Point ratchet spanners. I do quite a variety of machinery, from Cats, Tiger Cats, Timber Pro, Komatsu's, John Deere. So I've got to have they're all metric and Imperial. I always have different brands of spanners because all the angles are slightly different. Oh, and I've got your standard snap-on 4-way spanners. Can't beat those. Wouldn't be home without them. I think up to 1.25 inch. This is like the engineering drawer, so metric tap and die set, I think to about 24 squares, rulers, imperial or standard taps and dies, DTI files, which don't really get used nowadays. This is all my sockets, quarter, 3/8, half-inch drive, mainly snap-on, bit of Barco, bit of SP, some JBS in there. You got your Allens, metric and imperial over here. Metric, standard, standard 3/8 set. Tube 3/8, mess, a bit of a mess in the impact sockets, bouncing around in the truck all day, but snap-on up to about inch and a quarter. Oh no, 33 mil. Yeah, 33 mil. Wheel nuts on the tractors. A little bit of Koken as well. These are Koken impact Allen sockets. Had a couple of them as well. They're quite good. And a couple of Koken sockets as well. Quite happy with those. Messy punch drawer. And here you got a couple of double adjustables. Just been out this morning swapping a bucket over. So pulled out the old adjustable 7/8 and metric 22. Metric 7/8. Punches, snap-on punches. Someone always taught me in the early days, can't beat snap-on punches and chisels, so that's pretty much all I brought. Pliers that don't fit in the plier drawer, heel bars, pointy bars, Allen keys. I think I got them up to about 2 sets up to about 17. Chain braking tool for the balers. In the back there, crimp off pliers. Punch holder. I usually use just old pins as punches as well, whatever is floating around. Engine tuning tool, panel tool for holding the doors open on bulldozers or whatnot, stuff holding things up. Bearing punches, brass punch, yeah, just all sorts of punches. And then bottom drawer is hammers. This is, I think this one here, a go-to 4-pound club. It's had a new handle put into it. Actually needs another new handle. Had that one for years, and it's just my favourite hammer. 1-inch drive SP impact gun sitting in the bottom there. This here I made up for blowing radiators out. It's got a quarter fitting. Found it's good to just dump the air out. Volume of air blows a lot of the crap out. Oil filter wrench. I've had this HIT one for years. Really love it. Yeah, don't think it's the only one I use, to be honest. Snap-on pry bars, copper hammer, big King Cobra pieces. You can hit them for a fair while, and in the bottom there's just sort of 3/4 sockets that are a bit too big to fit anywhere. Got 2.5, I think that's biggest 2.5 inch. Got a 5/16 2-inch pin. Actually, is a pin for holding up. Pin for holding up the harvester heads. Safety pin. Some of the machines don't actually have them, so carry them. I got key wedges. Got these off the forage harvesters for pulling out the jib head keys. They're quite handy for wedging things apart. Chipping hammer. Usual stuff that doesn't fit any other places. Oh, and actually, cool spring compression tool. I don't use it much. I probably once or twice brought it for the job on the wife's car, but just recently we're doing a transmission. Had to compress the clutch housing into a gear, and I found that held the clutch together against the spring while we assembled, well, me and another mechanic assembled the rest of it. So yeah, using that to hold clutch together on a trans is the new best thing. So front drawer, underneath we've got Milwaukee batteries, M12 and M18, and lockout tags in there. I've sort of got a thing for Milwaukee. Once you buy the batteries, just stick with it really. Main consumables here, your Loctites, grease, sealant, bit of sealant there, but mainly Loctite, silicone grease, copper grease. And I've got Imperial spanners, 1.25 up to, I think, 1.58 in there, and a couple of ones that have been cut down, ABS, or a couple of King Tonys, and I've been stuck. Metric spanners to 41 mil in there, so that fits. Again, Sid Chrome, King Tony, JBS. I got the, don't know what brand, oh, Toledo. Flogging spanners, or as I call them, sawn-offs. Get the old sawn-off going. Got all those up to 24 to 46 millimeter. 3/4 sockets, and this T&E bar that takes your ratchet head and your flex head. Yeah, metric and imperial 12-point sockets, and then I've got Koken 3/4 drive, and I've got my inch drive sockets in here. I think 3/4 up to 36 mil, and then I go to the 1-inch drive, just common ones, 1.5, 1.75. There's a 30 mil for doing track bolts. And that's the front drawer there. This drawer here's got all the power tools in it. Milwaukee saber saw, got a 3/4 air impact gun. I still like my air tools. I've got my old snap-on gun in the back there. It's always handy when the batteries run out or it's raining or something like today. We've got the Milwaukee 90 degree vacuum. Oh, the vacuum's on the other side, sorry. 90 degree impact gun, your stubby, your big impact gun, 1/2 inch. I don't like the 3/4 inch drive impact guns that Milwaukee do. Suction pole for the Milwaukee oil transfer pump, 3/8 ratchet, drill, grinder, steel box here. It's got my grinding discs, cut off discs in that. Handy to take out if you're working on top of a machine or on a plant somewhere. Metric drill bits, Milwaukee bits, another bit set, and air chisel. Oh yeah, got an air chisel. I love this thing. Ingersoll Rand. I brought that when I worked in Canada and just, yeah, use it a lot, and I'd say it's probably the most underrated tool on the truck. People don't use them enough over here. And I've got a needle scaler for when I'm doing welding. Up the middle, it's just the long bars. There's a cheetah pipe alloy and a couple of snap-on long handle bars. I got a big bar in there, big blue point bar. 200 litre drum dropper pipe here for doing, to go in for the Milwaukee pump. The big snap-on 1/2 inch drive 36 inch bar. And I've got a lot of threaded rod for pulling pins out. I think that's M36. It's the biggest that fits the hollow cylinder. So on the other side, I'll show you, I've got a whole lot of nuts. Carry this and the nuts for, you can weld a nut to a pin and then put the cylinder on it and pull it. A lot of the Fortis on the cranes have hollow pins and it's for pulling them out. So I'm pulling pins out and changing crane cylinders quite a bit on the Fortis. That's about all. And then in the top, up the top, I've got my wet weather gear. That's just other consumables, CRC, window cleaner, dashboard cleaner, air tool oil, that sort of stuff. And then that's just my PPE, safety glasses, masks, what else is in there? Gloves, earmuffs, that sort of thing. Down the side, again, I've got Milwaukee lights, gloves. This is my Milwaukee box with my Milwaukee transfer pump in it. I've got a diesel fuel pump, lift pump in there that I'll wire in if I've got fuel issues. It's got a filter on it, good for testing, eliminating fuel systems. Down in here I carry a few spare plastic bags, putting parts in, always clean bags, all for blanking off the suction pipes on the diggers when changing pumps or suction hoses or anything. You can put it around the suction filter and jam it back in the hole. These bags here, so before I started the business, or before I had the truck with the business, I was working out of my ute, my light vehicle, so I just sort of made do with what I had and got these cheap bags that had my parts in them. They're soft, they can compress down. Not parts, sorry. Like you got your die grinder bits in that one, cable ties, bag of rags, which is almost empty, and in the back's big box of drill bits with every drill bit in it. And then in the other side will be like your silicon sealant, sandpapers, emery paper, that sort of thing. I haven't really changed much since when I had the ute. I just chucked everything in the truck. It's just sort of always worked. And that's about all for in there. So on the left hand side here, passenger side, we've got a similar sort of setup, but oil containers just in there because I ran out of space on the deck the other day. Keeps it clean. And my inverter up the top there, 2000 watt 24 volt laying down pad. And then I've got this is my grease box. So it's got all my grease guns. We're running out of room in this truck actually. All my grease guns in it and tubes of grease. So I've got 3 guns. I've got a pistol grip, a lever action, and a good old Milwaukee, and they've all got different couplers on it, and I've got spare couplers in here and spare grease hose just for the grease guns. Just handy to have all that sort of stuff when you're out on site. Brake clean bottle, 20 litres of brake, 5 litres of brake clean. So then here we've got, so at the top it's got like your hose clamps in it, box of O-rings, various assortments, light bulbs. I'm not going to dig it out, just consumable stuff. Probably a bit of wiring in there. This one here's got your butt plugs for hydraulic hoses. I quite like them. And that's a box of butt plugs. Those things there, they shove them up a hose, stops the oil running out. Been using them quite a bit lately. In behind that box is just another box of parts. I think there's a camera cable in there. So like I said, I do quite a bit of air conditioning. So this box here has my gauges in it, scale, vacuum pump, oil, dye, O-rings, valves. I don't really carry any parts, but it's enough. Oh, the cleaner gun, it's just enough to check the system. And then in the back corner, I've got the vacuum and the Milwaukee vacuum and snap-on camera, which I don't really use very often now. And down the next shelf, this is BSP. This box here has got your BSP caps in it, and I think I've got Komatsu fittings in there for blinking caps. This is my test gauges. I got a couple of digital gauges, and then I think about half a dozen analogs, plus all the test hoses and fittings. Box of O-ring face cap and plugs, a box of lifting straps, different sizes, lengths, capacities, GRC, caps and plugs, Texas service tool. Test fittings for, that's my hydraulic test fitting adapters of T's and test ports, blue plug kit, laying down board, got to have a laying down board, laying on track gear, helps, always helps. And then I've got a couple of blue cap kits, one there, Toledo 3/4 drive torque wrench, which I hardly use. And then I've got my Lincoln LN25 wire feeder, flux core wire, and then my rods, 7018s, 3.2s, 4 mils, 6010, 2.5s and 3.2s, and then gouging rods, extension lead, gouging rod, arc handpiece, gouging handpiece, and the lead for the welders wrapped around there as well. And I think there's an air hose for the bottle jack too. I put an air hose for my bottle jack up in there. This is my box of lifting shackles and lifting eyes and all that sort of stuff. 1-inch drive, socket set goes up to 80mm, only chrome, is just a cheapie. I don't think I've ever pulled it out in the last couple of years, to be honest, since what sits there. That box has got my chains, chain blocks, pulling bolt, not my pulling bolts, but my tarpon there. Carry 2, I think 3-ton lifting chains, twin legs. Got a couple of short chains, different styles, and 1.5 ton and a 1/2 ton chain block. The small chain blocks are always good for pulling hydraulic hoses out the way and stuff like that, holding things out the way. Another O-ring kit. That's the pressure tester for trucks. Box of bolts in there, metric and imperial, just standard stuff. And then that's my pulling pullers, and I've got a snap-on mechanical puller. I really like them because you can put the impact gun on there and just feed it. They're just fast when you're doing bearings on harvesters and you're under time constraints and pressure and all that, so it speeds the job up. There's a few bolts and plates of steel and whatnot just to make pullers up with and pull things against. And then there's just a box of engine sensors I've got left over. This drawer here has all the consumables in it. I like these king chrome steel boxes because you don't break them, unlike plastic. Plastic seems to break. Got a couple of electrical plug kits here, dowdy washers. These are all O-rings, more O-rings here, heat shrink, bit of wire, and I think got another roll of wire up the top. I always carry battery cable, split pins, roll pins, lynch pins all for the ag stuff, battery terminals, or cable ends, crimp-on ends. So then in the front drawer here, I've got a box of QRCs, 3/8 to 1-inch. I do quite a lot of hydraulic hose and fittings. I've got another hose trailer set up as well, but I carry all the QRCs for diggers and stuff like that. Guys damage them all the time, so I've got to have those on hand. This is my gas cutting tips, and I've got my cylinder hones in there, keeps them out of the way. This box here has got all my threaded pulling bolts, more pulling bolts in there, and it's got cut the heads off for doing like lining up studs. I've got one for doing a slew bearing, when we've done a slew bearing on one, cut some bolts down. So I always have that, and a few washers. Again, I like steel cases because it doesn't break, can take a beating. Next we've got snap-on, 3/8 and 1/2-inch torque wrenches, 36-inch JBS Stilson's chain wrench, big chain wrench for doing hydraulic cylinders. Oh, more tips. More threaded rod, cheetah bar, chicken stick, smacking pins out. Just here, electric angle grinder, big pin for smacking, big shaft for smacking pins out with, sledgehammer, hold that up with a crane, and a couple of JBS Stilsons. That's about all for that drawer. Here I've got a 14-pound sledgehammer, and I've got an umbrella, another big pipe, another big threaded rod. So umbrella, big threaded rod again, pulling bolts out. I think that's even bigger. And then I've got sawn off sledgehammer. I think it's a 10-pound, and then the 14-pound normal size. And in this drawer here on the left hand side, so this is where I got my battery crimping terminal, cable terminal crimping tool, jumper leads, and I've got my extension for the jumper leads, imperial big spanners that don't fit, and I've got, because I run the Anderson plugs for the jumper leads. I've got another set. If you have to jump machine to machine, you can plug them in. So it's just a little jump set. But mine jump into, I've got just under here, I've got your 12 volt and 24 volt jump leads, jump points. There's something over there. Big pulling plate for using with the threaded rod. These are the spaces for the threaded rod. So the pin head, it's a cut down cylinder. It's about 8-10 mil thick, and the pin head goes into it, and then you put the plate on the end, and then the porta power. Big box of nuts. Gotta have heaps of nuts for that. You can weld them to pins. You can do a lot with it. I don't carry my porta power with me, but I do take it if I'm going to a job. But if you get stuck, you can always, a couple of big crescents, you can wind the nuts together, and sometimes with a big gas you can get the pins out. And then you just left over extra spanners that don't fit on the other side. Metric and Imperial, I think I got a 55 in there, 52 inch 7/8. So I usually have 2 of everything. Got to have 2, sometimes 3 of everything, but mainly 2 of everything. A few cut down spanners. It's back around the driver's side. I've got gas hose reel, and that's got, I put the hydraulic hose protector cover over it to stop the UV damage. 1/2 inch hose reel, oxy, bottle of, I use LPG, or what they call propane LPG. It's a lot cheaper than acetylene and hotter, so I run that. Big bottle of oxy, you always run out of oxy. Nitrogen for the accumulators, and also for doing air conditioning, testing air conditioning systems. I got my small water tank down the bottom, just washing hands. What have we got on the back? So I just had to do a service today as well. So I got the oil containers all lined up there. This box here has oil dippers in it, and funnels and pumps and extensions and all that sort of stuff. I've got a couple of quick access lifting straps just there. 3 meter 3 ton, 1 meter 3 ton, and a 2 meter 2 ton, I think, but they're getting pretty old, need to be replaced. Got my ladder, welding leads, 3/4 hose reel, PC 3800 power finger crane, does the job. I think it's only a 3.7 meter hydraulic reach on it. It needs to be a little bit more, but it's what we've got for now. Can lift around 2 ton. And on this side, I've got the greaser and that spray bottle just there, oil drain trays, and a couple more oil drain containers there. This is my welder. It's a Lincoln 405 diesel, Lincoln Ranger. It's getting a bit old and long in the tooth, but it still does a good job. Done a fair few hours now, brought it second hand, but no, it does the trick. Up on the top I've got my water fire extinguisher. We have to have that for getting in the forest, but it's also handy as a portable water blaster. So you fill it with water, put the air compressor onto it, and yeah, with the degreaser you can rinse down a hydraulic valve, have it cleaned to work on. 9 kg fire extinguisher. Got a Starlink up there. That thing is so handy. I work a lot in the remote areas, so I wouldn't leave town now without it. I've got cell phone coverage pretty much everywhere, and internet. A lot of things is online nowadays, so I'm quite happy with that. And then here, this box has just got ratchet tie downs in it, a couple of drums of water, dunnage, 3 ton chain block, a big set of chains, I think it's about 4 or 5 ton, and another bottle jack, air operated jack there. And these 2 boxes down here, so this one here has my spill kit, my bags, tool bags when I've got to go for a walk in the cutover to fix something, can't drive to it, and a whole lot of hose. I carry a lot of heater hose, fuel hose, a couple of suction hoses for oil lines, chuck all the hose in there, air hose. This one here just has my R134A canister, petrol, diesel, and my crane pads, and also I've got a couple more bottle jacks that go in there, but they're just holding a tractor up. We've got a transit of a tractor at the moment, me and another mechanic, so it's just propping that up at the moment. Nothing really special on the cab. All the stickers on the windscreen, they're all my forestry permits. Have to have those to get into the bush. Permitted for most of the central North Island. Big light bar, and then I've got a few radios, which is what the aerials are on the roof for. Bush radio, CB, and a UHF. And I have a cell phone booster as well, but with Starlink it sort of makes it redundant now. I run a lot of Nava lights on the back. They're quite handy, I'm quite happy with them. I try not to work at night too much, but it's just what happens. Or when you're loading up early in the morning or finishing at night, it's always nice to have daylight. And then also in the cab, there's not a lot in there, just my clean overalls. I got a fridge and a couple of the RTs. It's a bit of a mess, I'm not going to show you. I always carry a change of clothes and diary, paperwork for the business and my laptop. That's about all I can show you.
Once again, head over to FortisHD.com for any tools, tracks, or parts you need. If you want to watch another video, you can click here.